Ablett is the best player that I've ever seen. I think that he's quite an amazing footballer. I think he has the ability to take his football to a higher level than any other player I've ever seen. He just possesses enormous natural ability.
It's back there towards goal. Wanganeen and Ablett, two of the greats of the game. Ablett over the top. Don't tell me Gary's kicked it. He's got it. Ablett's kicked his ball.
Who would I regard as the best player ever? It's a pretty hard decision, but probably Kevin Bartlett for the amount of games he played, the goals he kicked, and just the way he finished his football off. He was extremely talented.
I regard Gary Ablett would have to be the best player ever. Just his skills, his attitude towards the game, always wants to improve himself, and he always does improve himself.
Big pack up, Ablett! Oh, that's a miracle goal!
Best player ever, it's always a hard one to answer because you see so many good players, but you know, Jason Dunstall in the form he's been in, you know, over the last quite a few years, I'd say that he's certainly starting to rate with them.
The left footer goes towards Dunstall. He's got rid of one. He's got rid of two. He's got to beat three. Oh, he's an absolute champion now. Finish it off with a goal!
The best player I've ever seen is certainly Gary Ablett, without a doubt. I mean, he just can do the freakish things that I've never seen anyone else be able to do.
Ablett. Still Ablett. Gary's kick. Brilliant. What a player.
Who I regard as the best football player ever? Gee, that's a tough one. Peter Dacos is pretty freakish in his time.
Well, he might make it 6 now from the boundary line. Loves them from there and gets a miraculous goal.
I think Lee Matthews is the best player I've seen play AFL football. I had the privilege of playing a few years with Michael Tuck, and he was awesome as well.
The best player ever, it's very difficult with past players. I think probably Gary Ablett, you know, because I've played against him and, you know, can actually appreciate his skills. But Lee Matthews always followed closely too, but I think Gary Ablett.
Back there is Mansfield and Worsfold, but by Ablett. Hard at the footy. Brownless, Ablett, oh, he's done it again!
The best player I've ever seen in the AFL or VFL football would have to be, I think, Lee Matthews. There's not many players who be an on-ball player then go to either forward pocket or full forward and average 90 goals a year for about the last 4 seasons of his career. So I'd say he was the best player that I've ever played against and also seen.
I think the best player ever is a very hard question to answer. I think that the way the game has changed so much over the years makes it very hard to compare someone from the 70s with someone from the 90s. But I mean, I've seen Jason Dunstall play more football than anyone else in my days of observing football. I think probably the best way to judge a footballer is how consistent and how valuable they are week in, week out. And I'd have to put him up there with anyone I've ever seen.
A quick kick, Dunstall. Well done. Oh, terrific stuff. Ball handling brilliant. Shrugs the tackle with the left foot. Now that is play of the year.
Best player I've ever seen? I suppose you tend to think of the players that you've played against mainly and not the players that passed. But the best players that I would have played against would have been Dale Waitman and Johnny Platten.
Best player that I've seen in Aussie rules football would have to be Gary Ablett.
Funny looking kick. The end result might be okay. Ablett slung off the ball. Snapshot. He's got his 4.